She lived a life many would envy, a beautiful home, loving parents, and a peaceful neighborhood. But everything she thought she knew was a lie. One ordinary trip to the market changed everything. A stranger, tears in her eyes, pointed at her and whispered words that would haunt her forever. "That's my daughter. What do you do when the people who raised you are not who they claim to be? When your name, your identity, your entire life was stolen?" This is the story of a young girl named Lily, who would later discover her true name was Zara. A child raised in a lie, reclaimed by a mother who never gave up. But what happens when the truth finally rises? When the world watches as secrets unravel? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not just a story. It's a journey of betrayal, redemption, and the unstoppable power of a mother's love. The Johnsons were the epitome of suburban perfection. David Johnson, a respected architect, Helen Johnson, a graceful event planner, and their daughter Lily, a quiet, bright-eyed 7-year-old with curly hair and an ever-present teddy bear clutched to her chest. They lived in a calm neighborhood on the edge of Boston, where white picket fences and warm smiles disguised deeper truths. Lily had always felt something off. Her classmates had parents that matched them in skin tone or mannerisms. But Lily looked different. Her caramel complexion, deep brown eyes, and textured curls stood out next to David's pale blue eyes and Helen's blonde waves. Questions started early. "Are you adopted?" a girl asked at recess. Helen quickly shut down those conversations. "Lily is ours," she'd smile a little too tightly. "She just takes after a great-grandparent." David would gently pat Lily's head and change the subject. First it worked. Lily believed them. But as the years passed, the silence surrounding her origins became too loud to ignore. The stranger at the market. It was a Saturday afternoon. Helen had sent Lily and their housekeeper, Grace, to the local farmer's market. Lily clutched her teddy bear while Grace picked out vegetables. The sun was high when it happened. A woman stood across from them, tall, dark-skinned, with eyes that mirrored Lily's exactly. She froze, her basket of fruit slipping from her hand. "Zara!" the woman gasped. Lily turned, startled. The woman's voice cracked. "My baby!" Grace stepped forward, protective. "Ma'am, please step back." But the woman was already reaching. "Zara, it's me. I'm your mother." People stared. Grace pulled Lily away, heart pounding, shouting for security. The woman stood still, tears streaking her face. "She's mine. That's my daughter. I've looked for her for 6 years." Lily stared back, confused. And something inside her shifted. Buried files and broken trust. Helen panicked when Grace told her what happened. She called her Zara. David echoed, horrified. Helen gripped the phone. "We can't let this get out. She'll ruin everything." But Lily was no longer blind. That night, while her parents slept, she crept into the study. She'd seen Helen hide papers there before. In a dusty drawer labeled tax, she found a locked file. The key was on Helen's old keychain. Blick. Inside, documents with another name. Aramadu. A birth certificate. Nigerian origins. A photo. A baby wrapped in Ankara cloth, sleeping on a dark-skinned woman's chest. That woman was the one from the market. The truth unfolds. The next day, Lily confronted them. "Who is Zara Madu?" she asked softly. David's face went pale. Helen's hand trembled. Helen sat down, eyes wet. "You weren't supposed to know this way." David interjected. "We love you, Lily. That has never changed." Helen swallowed. "You were found, abandoned at a church. We fostered you, then adopted you." "No," Lily whispered. "You stole me." Helen couldn't meet her eyes. The real mother. The woman's name was Amara, a nurse from Nigeria who'd come to the US with her husband and infant daughter Zara. They lived in a shelter briefly after fleeing violence at home. One morning, Amara returned from a job interview to find her baby gone. The shelter reported that the baby had been taken by a volunteer couple claiming to offer a better life. The authorities never found them. Amara had searched for years, putting out photos, begging the system. She had been labeled unstable, even delusional. But she never stopped. Then she saw Lily. The custody battle. Amara hired a lawyer. The media got hold of the story. Nurse claims adopted daughter was stolen from shelter. Helen and David were thrown into the fire. Investigations revealed the adoption papers were forged. Their source traced to a disbarred lawyer known for helping childless couples arrange quiet adoptions. The Johnsons were charged with child abduction and document fraud. Lily, no Zara, was placed in temporary foster care pending court rulings. Relearning love. Amara's home was modest. She didn't have Lily's old princess bed or private music classes. But she had stories. Stories of Nigeria, of lullabies sung in Igbo, of the day Zara was born, and how she smelled of hibiscus flowers and milk. It wasn't easy. Lily, Zara, had known another life. She missed the garden, her toys, even Helen's perfume. But with every passing day, Amara's voice felt less like a stranger's, and more like home. Courtroom wars. The courtroom was tense. Helen sobbed on the witness stand. I couldn't conceive. I just wanted a child. I didn't know she had a mother still searching. The judge was unmoved. David was quieter. He confessed to everything. We were told she was abandoned. We lied to keep her. Amara sat tall, not out of pride but resilience. I lost 6 years. I want her to know her roots, her truth. Lily was brought to the stand. The judge asked, "Do you know who you want to live with?" Lily's voice trembled. "I want to know my real mother. I want to be Zara. A new beginning." The ruling came on a rainy afternoon. Full custody was granted to Amara. Helen fainted in the courtroom. David wept. Zara watched them go, torn between love and betrayal. Amara took her hand gently. "We'll take it slow, okay?" Zara nodded. "Can we go see the place I was born?" Amara smiled. "I was hoping you'd ask." Healing. They traveled to Nigeria during summer. Zara met her grandmother, aunties, and cousins. She learned how to cook jollof rice and dance to drums at her cousin's wedding. She slowly learned the language, laughing when she mispronounced words, crying when a lullaby unlocked a hidden memory. Therapy helped. School friends supported her. She wrote letters to David and Helen, sometimes getting replies. Forgiveness was slow but not impossible. From Lily to Zara. By age 10, she stopped flinching when people called her Zara. She started signing her name that way, Zara Madu. She no longer clung to the teddy bear. Instead, she carried a bracelet Amara made her with beads spelling ARA. She started a blog, Finding Zara, where she shared her story with other adopted or missing children searching for identity. The first post read, "They loved me, but they lied. And the truth, though painful, set me free." This is the journey of a girl who was lost and found herself. Full circle. 3 years later, Zara stood before her school assembly. Her essay titled The Family I Lost and Found had won a national writing contest. She read, "Sometimes love is not enough. Truth is, family isn't always who raises you. It's who fights to find you, even when the world says you're crazy. My name is Zara Madu, and this is the story of how I became whole." In the front row, Amara wept quietly, pride glowing on her face. And for the first time Zara smiled, not Lily's careful smile, but her own. Letters from a prison cell. 2 weeks after Zara's speech, a letter arrived in a pale blue envelope. It was from David Johnson. Zara stared at it for a long time before tearing it open. "Zara, I know I have no right to ask you for anything, but I hope one day you can read this without hate in your heart. I was wrong. We were wrong. But I never stopped loving you as my daughter. I see your pictures online and I see how bright you've become. I'm proud even from behind bars. I know I can't be your father anymore, but I will always care. David." Zara felt an ache she couldn't describe. She didn't hate him, not exactly. But she couldn't forgive either. She folded the letter and tucked it in her diary, beside a photo of her younger self. 2 lives side by side. The lost tape. One night, Amara brought out a small box labeled, Zara's Memories. Inside were baby shoes, tiny anklets, and a USB flash drive. I found this in a drawer back in Lagos, Amara said, handing it over. Zara plugged it in. A grainy video loaded. A young Amara holding baby Zara, humming softly. Then a voice behind the camera said, "Say hi, little Zara." Zara gasped. "That's Dad." Amara nodded. "Yes, your real father." Zara had never heard his voice before. He had died when she was just a baby, a casualty of a car accident in Abuja during a job interview run. Tears spilled down her cheeks. She felt like she had found a ghost. One that finally said, "You were never alone." The reunion she didn't expect. One afternoon, at a small bookstore event for young writers, a woman in a red coat approached her. "Zara." Zara turned. It was Helen Johnson. "May I sit?" Helen asked. Zara's throat went dry, but she nodded slowly. Helen looked thinner, older, her eyes holding the weight of grief. "I was released early," she said softly. "I served 3 years. I attend therapy. I write apology letters. And every night, I pray for the girl I called my daughter." Zara didn't speak. "I'm not here to beg for forgiveness. I just wanted to see you. To know you're okay." Zara met her gaze. "I'm still healing." Helen nodded. "That's more than I deserve." She stood up, placing a wrapped parcel beside her. "This was yours. You used to sleep with it every night." Zara unwrapped it after Helen left. It was her old storybook. The cover was cracked, but inside was a note. "Even if the story started wrong, I still wish your ending is bright. Ellen." A voice for the voiceless. Zara's blog Finding Zara was going viral. Kids began reaching out. Some adopted, some separated from their families by war or poverty. One girl named Tessa wrote, "I was trafficked at 4. I live in Sweden now. I don't remember my mother's face. But your story gives me hope." Zara began hosting live talks, partnering with NGOs, and eventually giving TEDx speeches. Her topic: Stolen Identity, Chosen Destiny. Crowds stood to applaud her. Cameras flashed. But the best part: her mother Amara, seated in the front row, holding tissues and pride in equal measure. The man with the scar. One day, as Zara was heading home from school, a man approached her. He had a long scar across his cheek and walked with a limp. "Zara Madhu?" he asked. "Yes." He pulled out a photograph, one of baby Zara and Amara from the shelter, dated 7 years back. "I worked security at the shelter. I remember when you disappeared." Zara's heart raced. "Do you know who took me?" The man nodded slowly. "There was a woman, a volunteer named Brenda. American. Said she was with a Christian charity. She took several babies. Not just you." Zara froze. It hadn't been just her. The underground truth. With the man's help, Zara and Amara contacted a private investigator. They uncovered a chilling network. Babies stolen from immigrant mothers at shelters, trafficked through illegal adoption channels into the US, Canada, and Europe. Zara's story became the face of a much larger movement. Journalists dug deeper. Politicians began pushing new laws for adoption transparency. One by one, more children were located. Some had grown up in luxury, some in abuse. All of them were lied to. Zara wasn't just a survivor now. She was a whistleblower. Painful reunions. In Belgium, an 18-year-old boy found his birth mother after 12 years. In Kenya, a mother fainted upon meeting her daughter who had been raised in Florida. Zara began to feel a new kind of grief, survivor's guilt. "Why did I get justice when others are still searching?" she asked Amara. "Because," Amara said, "you were chosen to carry the torch." Becoming Zara. At 17, Zara applied to Harvard University. Her essay, titled Born Twice, moved the admissions team to tears. She got in. On her first day, She wore a necklace with her mother's initials, M. She didn't forget David or Helen, but they were a past chapter. Her future. Well, she wanted to fight for children like her. The child named Grace. One evening, Amara returned home with a surprise. A 6-month-old baby girl, abandoned at a hospital, left with a note. Her name is Grace. Please give her a better life. Zara stared at the infant in her arms, stunned. We're fostering, she asked. Amara smiled. Yes, for now. Zara leaned over and kissed the baby's forehead. You're not alone, Grace. You never will be. A visit to the shelter. Zara returned to the same shelter where she'd vanished as a baby. It had changed. Brighter walls, better staff, tighter security. She donated funds for a new wing named Zara's Haven. The plaque read, "To every child who was taken, and to every mother who never gave up. Love unexpected." At university, Zara met Kelechi, a Nigerian-American studying social work. He was quiet, kind, and understood her pain without asking for explanations. One night, under a starlit sky, he said, "I don't love you because of what you've survived. I love you because you never stopped becoming more." Zara smiled for real. "I'm still learning how to love." "That's okay," he whispered. "We'll learn together." Forgiveness found. Before graduation, Zara visited the prison where David still served time. He was older now, his once thick hair graying. She sat across the glass. "I read every article," he said. "You're changing the world." Zara looked at him, eyes steady. "I came to say I forgive you. Not because it was okay, but because I need to let go." David's eyes filled with tears. "You've grown into everything we said you'd be. Only better." The final speech. At her Harvard graduation, Zara was chosen to give the closing speech. She stood in her cap and gown, eyes scanning the crowd. Amara holding Grace, Kelechi smiling from afar, and rows of other parents. "I was born once in Nigeria. I was born again in a lie. And today I'm reborn in truth. They told me family was chosen. But I learned family is also earned. My mother walked through fire to find me. And today, I walk forward so others don't have to crawl through lies to find their names. This is for every child who wondered if they belonged. You do. You always did. Even if they told you otherwise." Flamekeeper. Zara Madu started her own foundation by age 23. Flamekeeper International, a network that helps track and reunite missing children, especially from displaced families and corrupt shelters. She authored a best-selling memoir titled, "She Called Me Daughter." And in the opening page, she wrote, *, she thought they were her family. Then a stranger called her daughter. The truth shattered me. But it also saved me. In the end, she found her truth. Not in the faces she grew up calling family, but in the arms of a woman who never stopped searching. Never stopped believing. Her name was never really Lily. It was Zara. A name stolen, a life rewritten. But from the ashes of deception, she rose stronger, louder, and unshakably real. Forgiveness wasn't easy. Healing took time. But she turned her pain into power. Her stolen story into a torch for others lost in the dark. Today, Zara is not just a survivor. She is a voice for the voiceless. A warrior for truth. A reminder that no matter how deep the lie, love always finds its way back. And to every child who has ever felt misplaced, misunderstood, or forgotten, Zara's story whispers to you now. You are not alone. You were never alone. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And stay tuned, because another powerful emotional story is coming your way very soon. Only here, on this channel where real stories live and hearts are healed. *.